What if the air inside your home was more polluted than the air outside your front door?
Oh man, it is a genuinely jarring thought, isn't it?
It really is.
I mean, we spend our entire lives viewing our homes as this ultimate safe haven, the fortress we retreat to when the outdoor environment just gets to be too much.
Right, exactly.
So the idea that shutting your front door might actually be locking you inside with like a concentrated dose of the very things you're trying to escape, it is really hard to wrap your head around.
It is, yeah. And that is exactly what we are exploring today. Welcome to today's deep dive, where our mission is uncovering your home's invisible problem.
And it really is invisible for most people.
Totally. I want you to picture living in Atlanta, Georgia. If you are from the South or, you've spent any time there during the warmer months, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Oh, the humidity alone.
Right. It is a stunningly beautiful city, but it definitely comes with environmental compromises. I mean, pollen, heavy humidity, and just everyday dust are an unavoidable part of daily life.
Yeah, you wake up in the spring and your car is just coated in it.
Exactly, that thick layer of neon yellow pine pollen. And then you step outside in the summer, and the humidity just wraps around you like a warm, wet blanket.
It's oppressive. And because of that intense outdoor environment, homeowners in that region naturally rely really heavily on their indoor climate control.
Which makes sense. You need relief.
You do. Your air conditioning is running constantly.
Yeah.
But that creates a massive blind spot in home maintenance.
How so?
Well, homeowners usually live with a very strict out-of-sight, out-of-mind mentality when it comes to their air ducts. They just do not think about the hidden infrastructure winding through their walls and attics.
Until something physically forces them to, right?
Exactly.
You don't think about it until your seasonal allergies suddenly strike with a vengeance while you are just sitting on the couch.
Or your energy bills randomly spike for, like, no apparent reason.
Yes, or worse, that damp, musty smell takes over your hallway and just will not go away. That is the invisible problem we are tackling today.
It's a huge issue.
It is. And because uncovering this problem requires a real, actionable solution, I enthusiastically announce that today's deep dive is sponsored by Metro Duct Cleaning, LLC.
A fantastic service.
Truly. They provide professional residential and commercial air duct cleaning services in Atlanta and the surrounding areas.
Which is so needed.
Throughout this deep dive, we're going to break down the science of what is actually happening in your walls, and we'll see exactly why Metro Duct Cleaning LLC is the key to turning this routine maintenance into a total game changer for your health, your comfort, and your indoor air quality.
It truly is a game changer. But before we can even talk about fixing a problem or looking at solutions, we really have to understand the reality of it.
The biological and physical reality.
Right. What exactly is lurking in those dark, hidden corners of the home?
Okay, let's unpack this. Let's break down this invisible menace. I was actually looking at the schematics of modern HVAC systems before we started.
Heating, ventilation, and air conditioning.
Exactly. And I realize a lot of people use the wrong analogy for it. They call it the lungs of the house.
Yeah, you hear that a lot.
But really, your home's ductwork is much more like a cardiovascular system.
Oh, that's a good way to look at it.
Right. The ducts are the arteries carrying the lifeblood of climate-controlled air to every single room. And the blower motor is the heart, pumping that air through the network.
That makes a lot of sense.
But just like our own arteries, these ducts can develop buildup. Over time, they quietly collect dust, dirt, pollen, and even black mildew.
Forming a layer of, like, arterial plaque on the inside of the sheet metal?
Yes, essentially plaque. But I have to play devil's advocate here for a second and push back.
Go for it.
If I can't actually see this dust, like if it's hidden away behind a metal grate in the ceiling, is it really causing that much harm? Or are we just being hyper-vigilant neat freaks about a space no one even looks at?
Well, what's fascinating here is that the harm is absolutely real. And it's largely due to the specific physics of indoor air pollution.
Okay, so it's not just about having a dusty house.
Not at all. It is a severe predicament. And it goes way beyond aesthetic cleanliness. It's about the literal degradation of the physical air molecules you were breathing.
Wow, degradation. That sounds serious.
It is. And when we look at Atlanta homes specifically, they are incredibly vulnerable because of how that outdoor environment interacts with the indoor systems.
You mean the humidity blanket we talked about?
Exactly. Moisture in the air acts as a carrier vehicle for particulates. When that sticky, humid air carries yellow pollen and microscopic dust into a dark enclosed duct system, the moisture makes those particles heavy.
So they don't just blow through.
No, they settle. They cling to the metal walls. And because modern homes are so tightly sealed for energy efficiency, double pane windows and advanced weather stripping.
Right, we trap the air inside on
We
purpose.
do. And so those pollutants are permanently trapped inside too. Rather than blowing away outdoors on a natural breeze, they're contained within an airtight box.
So we have this dark, enclosed environment that is essentially hoarding these heavy, sticky allergens and dust particles. And I imagine it's not like that buildup just sits there peacefully forever. We need to explore the mechanics of what happens when that HVAC system actually kicks on.
Precisely. We have to look at the continuous loop of the HVAC system.
Yeah.
It operates entirely on recirculation.
It pulls ambient air in from your living room.
Right, through a return vent,
Mhm.
passes it over heating or cooling coils, and pushes it back out into the house.
And it just does that over and over.
Every single time that blower motor engages, the rush of air physically dislodges the top layer of that accumulated arterial plaque in the ducts.
Oh, gross.
Yeah, it recirculates whatever's been sitting there. It is a continuous, pernicious recirculation of contaminants.
That is just so unsettling to think about.
And it isn't just gross, it directly contributes to serious health consequences.
Like what?
From chronic allergies to sudden asthma flare-ups and even unexplained fatigue.
So what does this all mean? Let me translate this to your daily life. Let's say it is a sweltering July afternoon in Atlanta.
A very familiar scenario.
You come inside from mowing the lawn, you are sweating, and you turn on the AC for some much-needed relief from the Georgia heat.
You're just looking to cool down.
Right. You hear the hum of the machine, you feel the cool breeze hit your face. But what you don't realize is a mechanism behind that breeze.
The recirculation.
Yes, you are actually blasting yourself with a localized microscopic dust and pollen storm. You are seeking comfort, but you are inadvertently showering your living room in trapped, recycled contaminants.
That is the exact thermodynamic and biological mechanism at play. And we have to emphasize the why and the how here.
Yeah, how does a little bit of hidden dust actually cause a biological reaction like an asthma flare-up?
Well, household dust isn't just soft dirt, right? Under a microscope, it is a mixture of dead skin cells, insect fragments, and jagged little silicates.
Jagged silicates, that sounds like tiny glass.
It basically is. Right. When you inhale those microscopic jagged edges, they can create microscopic lacerations in your lung tissue.
Wait, literally cutting your lungs.
Yes, on a microscopic level.
Yeah.
Your immune system immediately responds to that physical damage with inflammation.
Oh, I see.
That inflammatory response is what you experience as a tight chest, a cough, or a severe allergy attack. Critical thinking requires us to look at this source.
Right, because if you are constantly treating your runny nose with over-the-counter medication, you are only treating the inflammation.
Exactly. You aren't removing the tiny airborne daggers causing it in the first place.
Yeah.
And heavy HVAC use in a place like Atlanta means this circulation cycle is almost constant.
You are breathing in that degraded, polluted air on a continuous loop, day in and day out.
And let's not forget the mechanical impact, too.
Oh, going back to the cardiovascular analogy.
Right. If those arteries are clogged with plaque, that blower motor, the heart, has to pump twice as hard to force the same amount of air through a narrower space,
It's working overtime.
drawing more electricity, which is exactly why your energy bills randomly spike. You are literally paying more money to blast yourself with dirty air.
Which brings us to the undeniable reality that you cannot just ignore this and hope it goes away. You need a professional intervention.
Absolutely.
So listen closely. Call the sponsor now. Residential air duct cleaning in Atlanta, Georgia. Sponsored by Metro Duct Cleaning, LLC. Phone 678-498-7371.
Write that down, folks.
I am going to repeat that because it is vital for solving this specific issue. Call the sponsor now. Residential air duct cleaning in Atlanta, Georgia. Sponsored by Metro Duct Cleaning, LLC. Phone 678-498-7371.
It's such an important call to make.
And remember, they don't just do residential and commercial air duct cleaning. They also offer critical dryer vent cleaning and comprehensive carpet cleaning.
And, we don't want to just rely on the theoretical physics or biology of this.
Right, let's get into some real stories.
Let's transition to real, tangible proof from people dealing with this exact issue right now in the Atlanta metro area. The source material provides some incredibly revealing 5-star reviews.
They really perfectly illustrate the underlying science we just discussed.
Let's look at Barbara Burton from Atlanta. Her story is a textbook case of this invisible problem becoming biological.
Yes, Barbara's review is wild. She noticed that whenever she turned on her AC, her house suddenly smelled like a damp basement.
It's a very distinct odor.
Very distinct. And worse, it was actually making her family visibly sick.
That's the scary part.
She did some investigating and found black mildew literally sitting on the intake louver. Can you imagine? You turn on your air conditioning to cool down your kids' bedrooms, and you realize you are actively pumping mildew spores directly into their space.
It is a terrifying realization for any parent. But if we look at the mechanism of why that happened, it makes perfect sense.
How does mildew even get in there?
Well, an air conditioner cools your home by pulling warm air over incredibly cold evaporator coils.
Right, okay.
When the hot, humid Atlanta air hits those freezing coils, condensation forms instantly. It's just like water droplets forming on the outside of a cold glass of iced tea on a summer day.
Oh, I know that visual well.
Now, if there is a thick layer of dust coating those coils or the nearby ducts, that dust absorbs the condensation.
Like a sponge.
Exactly. Now you have a dark, enclosed space with a constant food source, which is the organic matter in the dust, and a constant water source.
A perfect biological incubator.
Precisely. Spores that were dormant in the dust hit that moisture and bloom into black mildew. That is where that damp basement smell comes from. It's the off-gassing of the fungal growth.
That is deeply unsettling, but it explains so much about what Barbara was smelling.
It does.
Fortunately, her review highlights the solution. She contacted Duct Cleaning, and they responded the very same day.
Same-day service is huge for something like that.
It is. They came out, revealed the shocking extent of the biological growth inside the ducts, which you couldn't even see from the outside, and eradicated it.
And what was her main takeaway?
Barbara's main takeaway was that she learned her lesson and will never neglect her air ducts for so long in the future.
That's a powerful lesson. And then the sources highlight James Davis and Marietta.
Oh, yeah, the dryer vent story.
He actually hired them for their dryer vent cleaning service, which is a whole other hidden danger zone in the house that operates on completely different physical principles.
Right. The technicians came out and found a massive amount of trapped lint in his system.
And trapped lint isn't just an inefficiency that makes your jeans take 3 cycles to dry.
No, I was looking into this, and it is a major, highly volatile fire hazard.
Exactly. And the physics behind why it's a fire hazard are fascinating. Lint is essentially highly combustible kindling made of tiny cotton fibers.
Just sitting in your walls.
Right. When your dryer vent is clogged with it, it restricts the exhaust. That means the hot, moist air from your dryer has nowhere to go.
It's just trapped in the pipe.
Because the air can't escape, the blower has to push harder, creating intense friction against the blockage. That friction creates a severe heat buildup within the metal pipe.
How hot can it get?
Hot enough that eventually that trapped heat can hit the auto-ignition temperature of those cotton fibers, which is around 400 degrees Fahrenheit.
Wow, 400 degrees.
Once it hits that temperature, the lint spontaneously combusts.
That is terrifying.
It is. But James noted that the technicians cleared out this massive blockage in about an hour, completely neutralizing that thermal threat.
In just an hour. That's amazing.
Yeah, now he finally feels safe. In fact, he realized the danger was so acute that he has them come back every 6 months, like clockwork.
That is such a smart move. And lastly, there is Eva Lawrence, also in Atlanta. She had been trying to get her vents properly clean, and she explicitly praised Duct Cleaning for doing what literally no other Atlanta company managed to do. They quickly and painlessly got all the deep-seated dust and debris out of her system. She even mentioned how simple it was to book the appointment and get a clear quote up front.
These real-world experiences are vital.
They really are.
Because they show the complete arc. They show the transition from experiencing the negative biological and physical consequences of neglected systems like sickness, fungal odors, and literal fire anxiety to the absolute peace of mind that comes from a professional intervention.
Which brings up a really important logistical question. After hearing the underlying science of black mildew blooming on AC coils and the thermodynamics of hidden fire hazards in the laundry room, we need to talk about the solution.
The actual process.
Yes, how do you actually get this stuff out? If Barbara's HVAC intake was literally growing mildew, how do you remove something that is biologically caked onto the metal?
It's a very involved process.
Let's detail the rigorous multi-step protocol used by Duct Cleaning. It starts with the inspection phase.
The inspection is crucial because every single architectural layout is different. The technicians don't just go in blindly.
They have to map it out.
Exactly. They conduct an exhaustive review of your home's HVAC system to gauge the exact degree of contamination and map the entire airflow network.
Why do they need to map the airflow?
They need to understand the specific aerodynamics of your house to determine the optimal approach for removal.
Okay, so once they have it mapped, They move into the cleaning phase. And wait, I have to stop here because I am genuinely confused by something I read in the research.
What's that?
The sources say they use powerful air compressors and air agitators to dislodge the caked-on dirt. But if you are violently agitating the air inside the duct with a high-powered compressor, aren't you just stirring up a massive microscopic dust cloud?
That's a very logical concern.
Right. Isn't all that jagged silicate and mildew just going to shoot out of my bedroom vents the second you turn the agitator on?
That is a brilliant question, and it gets to the very heart of why you cannot do this yourself with a standard vacuum.
Okay, explain that to me.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, we really have to look at the physics of the technology they're deploying. You're right, standard. Superficial cleaning often just agitates dust and pushes it around.
Which would absolutely make the indoor air quality temporarily worse.
Exactly. But metro duct cleaning uses negative air machines.
What exactly does that mean? How is a machine negative?
It refers to negative pressure. The technicians hook up a massive machine to your ductwork that essentially alters the air pressure inside the ducts so that it is significantly lower than the air pressure in your living room.
Oh, I see.
In physics, air always moves from areas of high pressure to areas of low pressure.
So it's pulling air in, not pushing it out.
Right. Because the pressure inside the duct is now lower, the ambient air in your room acts as a barrier, physically preventing anything from escaping the vent.
That is incredible.
Instead, the moment the agitators knock that mildew and dust loose from the walls, that negative pressure acts like an inescapable vacuum, forcing every single particle to flow aggressively back into their containment machine.
Oh, wow. So they're basically manipulating the physics of airflow in the room to trap the dust. And then they use HEPA filtration, right?
Exactly. HEPA stands for high-efficiency particulate air. Once that negative pressure pulls the debris into the machine, the HEPA filter acts as a microscopic net.
How fine is a net?
It is dense enough to capture and permanently trap particles as small as 0.3 microns.
That sounds tiny, but give me some context.
To put that in perspective, a single human hair is about 70 microns thick.
Wait, really? So 0.3 microns is basically invisible?
Yes. So this technology completely captures and removes microscopic life forms from the environment. It doesn't just move the dust, it extracts it.
Filtering out the absolute smallest biological contaminants so they cannot re-enter your home's air supply.
That's the key.
Here's where it gets really interesting. When you read about the intensity of this equipment manipulating air pressure, using HEPA nets to catch particles smaller than a human hair, it really strikes me that this is not basic housekeeping.
No, not at all.
This is more like a highly specialized surgical procedure for the home's cardiovascular system. They're going in with precision instruments, isolating the arteries, and ensuring no shortcuts are taken.
That's a great way to describe it.
And they don't just stop at the easy-to-reach straightaways of the ductwork. They do a comprehensive reach. They clean the air handler, the coils, and the registers.
That comprehensive reach is the critical differentiator. Remember the biology of Barbara's situation.
The mold on the intake.
Exactly. The evaporator coils and the air handler are the exact spots where the intense temperature fluctuations occur. That is where the moisture sits.
Breeding ground.
Right. It's the breeding ground for harmful bacteria, viruses, and fungal spores. By painstakingly scrubbing those specific thermal components, they eradicate those biological threats at the very source.
And then the protocol finishes with a thorough sanitizing process.
Yes.
They apply an antimicrobial treatment to the inside of the ducts, which actively prevents future microbial growth, followed by a final inspection to guarantee the quality of the indoor air is immaculate.
It's so thorough.
That is exactly the level of thoroughness you want when you are dealing with the invisible air your family breathes while they sleep.
Absolutely.
But looking at the whole house, it gets me thinking. Clean air ducts are incredibly vital. But total home safety and freshness extend beyond just the HVAC system itself.
They do.
We touched on the physics of lint fires with Jinx's review earlier, but let's dive a little deeper into the other crucial services that ensure a healthy home environment. Metro duct cleaning also does dryer vent cleaning.
Yes. And as we discussed, removing that hidden lint buildup prevents a severe thermal fire hazard.
Yeah.
But it also has a major economic impact.
How does it save money?
Well, when the vent is clear, the hot, moist air escapes instantly. The clothes dry much faster, meaning the appliance doesn't have to run as long or work as hard.
Oh, that makes sense.
You are directly lowering your energy costs and vastly improving the lifespan of the dryer motor itself,
And they also handle carpet, rug, and upholstery cleaning.
which is so important for air quality.
Right. They use deep steam and organic cleaning methods to remove deep dirt, stubborn stains, and lingering odors. And if you think about it, your carpet actually acts like a massive secondary air filter for your room.
It really does.
All that heavy, humid dust we talked about earlier, whatever doesn't get sucked into the ducts eventually settles onto the floor. It gets trapped in the carpet fibers.
And then what happens?
Well, every time you walk across the room, your footsteps act as physical agitators, kicking a tiny cloud of those microscopic jagged particles back up into the air.
Which you then breathe in.
Exactly. By steam cleaning the carpets, you are extracting those trapped particles from the secondary filter, which further improves the overall indoor air quality.
It's a holistic approach to the home's air.
But this brings up a huge thought for me. I have a direct question for you, based on all this biology and physics.
All right, let's hear it.
Is this whole deep cleaning process just a one-and-done deal? Do I call them once when I buy the house and forget about it, or do we need to stay vigilant over time?
This raises an important question, and it is one every homeowner needs to internalize. It is absolutely not a one-and-done deal.
I figured.
We have to address the frequency of service. While the exact timeline for air duct cleaning varies depending on your home's specific environment, like whether you have pets, how often you run the AC, how close you live to a busy highway, Barber's Review teaches us a stark lesson.
The mold grew fast.
Fungal growth can happen very rapidly in a humid environment. Do not neglect it until mildew forms, and you can literally smell the off-gassing in the hallway.
You want to be proactive, not reactive.
Right. If you wait until it smells like a damp basement, the spores are already in your lungs. You've waited way too long.
And when we look at James's review regarding the dryer vents, he realized the thermal danger of that lint buildup was so acute that he now has them serviced every 6 months.
Regular scheduling is a key, highly overlooked step in optimal home maintenance.
You cannot just clean it once and assume the physics of your home will stay pristine in a punishing climate like Atlanta's.
It is an ongoing relationship with the physical health of your home.
So let's rapidly recap the transformative benefits you'll actually notice after a professional cleaning from Metro Duct Cleaning.
Okay, let's summarize.
By removing the plaque from the arteries, you are going to experience significantly fresher indoor air.
You're going to see improved family health because you are no longer inhaling those microscopic, lacerating dust particles.
You will feel better airflow coming from your vents, which means the blower motor doesn't have to work as hard, directly resulting in lower energy bills.
And above all, you get absolute peace of mind regarding your family's fire safety and breathing environment.
It entirely shifts your home from being a sealed trap for recirculating pollutants to being the safe, clean fortress it was always meant to be.
It is the definition of a game changer.
So, do not wait until the musty smell takes over or your energy bill skyrockets because your system is suffocating.
Take action.
Give them a call for a free estimate. You can reach Metro Duct Cleaning at 404-800-1667 or, again, at 678-498-7371.
They are fully insured, Google guaranteed, and armed with the technology ready to tackle the invisible problem in your home.
It is the smartest investment you can make in the foundational health of your living space.
Without a doubt.
As we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave you with one final lingering thought to mull over. Think about your daily wellness routine. You probably spend significant time, energy, and money filtering your drinking water to make sure there are no impurities.
Yeah, lots of people do.
You probably carefully curate your diet, reading nutrition labels to make sure you are putting only the right organic things into your body.
It's so common now.
But considering you involuntarily take about 20,000 breaths every single day, shouldn't the very first ingredient in your wellness routine be the invisible air you're constantly inhaling inside your own home?